Yeah, it was pretty cool. Massive crowd, obviously. I sort of knew what to expect a little bit following Jesse last year, backing him up. So warmed up on the ground and everything. But obviously being out there is a different experience. But yeah, it was unbelievable.
How does the crowd at Ohio Stadium compare to maybe things you experienced in Australia?
The MCG back home is a pretty big crowd. That's 100,000. But obviously the crowd here, the pitch is a lot smaller, the ground's a lot smaller, so the crowd's a lot more on top of you. So that's a big difference. But yeah, it's unbelievable. And especially here, every single person is supporting the Buckeyes, whereas back home it's sort of a 50-50 split. So it's pretty nice.
What have the last 2 weeks been like for you? Because you had to hear where Coach Dave basically told us like a week and a half ago that it looked like Nick was going to be the guy.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're the guy.
Yeah.
So what happened in between, and what did you step up? Just explain what went on there.
I mean, I suppose Nick's a very good punter, and we were neck and neck the whole fall camp essentially. And the coaches, we just did our own thing. I went out, performed as well as I could. He did the same, and whoever the coaches choose on the day is who gets the punt.
So you knew at the end of what day that you were going to be the starting punter, at least for the first game.
It was towards the end of the week. That I knew.
What went on in your mind, Joe?
I was pretty excited. I mean, I've been training pretty hard so that no matter when my number's called, I'm ready. I mean, you never know what could happen in a game. So, I worked to always be ready for the occasion. So, yeah, I was excited initially, and then I just sort of thought, well, all right, I've got to get myself ready and perform.
So was half of Australia excited and the other half disappointed? No, what kind of feedback do you get from those folks?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's pretty excited about it, especially my family, obviously, and friends. So, yeah, they're obviously right behind me.
Joe, what was it about coming to Ohio State, United States, playing college football as opposed to
I mean, there's no real college sport in Australia. So I was lucky enough, I've visited America a few times, and I've got some friends and family that have been here a lot, and just seeing how big it is, and I love the sport as well. So yeah, I thought I might as well give it a try. I worked pretty hard with Pro Kick and Nathan Chapman, John Smith and Tim Gleason back home for a few years, and then luckily I got good enough. Obviously I knew a lot about the Buckeyes, and then they sort of said, yeah, we think you could go here, and I was over the moon. It was fantastic. So
is there like a factory where you guys go to?
I came out of Pro Kick Australia, so yeah, that's where I came from, and a lot of other guys have come out of as well. Yeah.
Joe, do you have like a punting average that you want to hit this year?
As far as I can, as far as I can with as little returns as possible.
So you're at 44.7. Like, is that good in your mind? Is that not where you want it to be? Like,
I mean, yeah, I suppose it's not too bad, but it's one game. There's another 15, I think, if we play our hand right. So. Yeah, as far as I can kick it with as few return yards, that's all I care about. Whatever helps the team the most.
When did you become aware of the fact there could be a future? I'm a little Australian kid growing up. I could be punting in the United States one of these days. When did you become aware of that possibility?
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I grew up my whole life playing Australian football and cricket as well in the summers. I didn't even start punting until probably about 3 or 4 years ago. So I would have been about 19 or 20, but in saying that, Australian football, the main way to pass the ball is through kicking, which is very similar to punting. So through a bit of refinement.
But I mean, when did you become aware that, hey, there's a future out there for a guy like me? Like Cameron Johnson was here.
Yep.
Who were you aware of that showed you that this was a possibility? You know what I mean? Like when you were a little kid.
Yeah, I mean, I heard of a few Australian guys that were over here, and then Cam's obviously been fantastic, who's a Buckeye, and I've worked pretty hard with him as well. Over the summer, he's been unreal. And then you see a few stories back home about Pro Kick and the things they've been doing. And then one of my friends actually just came to me and said, mate, like you've got a solid leg, like why don't you try this out? And I did, not expecting anything. And then Chappie basically just said to me like, yeah, you should come and join us, and worked pretty hard, put on about 20 kilos. I was pretty skinny back then, so what's that, about 45 pounds I think. And then yeah, ended up coming to the best school in the country, which is very nice. I'm incredibly grateful for, and yeah, it's an honour.
Coach Day talked about how involved he's been with the special teams this year. Can you guys sense that? Can you tell that he's really focusing on a lot of those details in special teams?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, he cares about every single snap, no matter where it is. He's front and centre every meeting, always giving input. So it's fantastic having him around, and yeah, he's been great.
What was your mindset like when Ohio State made the decision to bring 2 other punters in to basically try to steal your job?
Yeah, I mean, I was the only punter here at the time, really. So I was expecting it. And if that's what they think makes the team better, then great. Because at the end of the day, we just want to win, and if that's what they want for, to give us the best chance to win, then so be it. And as I say here, iron sharpens iron. So having good competition is good for all 3 of us, I think.
Do you think that competition has made you better?
For sure, 100%.
What do you like about having another Australian in a row?
It's great. Yeah, I love having him around. It's good. At least one person in the room knows what I'm saying, so that's nice. Yeah, it's been good. We can talk about Australian footy as well and a bit of cricket. So.
Did having Jesse here when you got here, was that a big reason why you chose to come here?
No, not really, but it definitely helped. He was fantastic. He's been a great mentor. I still talk to him most days. And yeah, it was invaluable having him around and following him for a year. I think was the best thing that I could have done. So he was just fantastic.
What were the biggest things you learned from him?
A lot of it's mindset in the game. Just following him around, seeing how it all works. I mean, I hadn't really played American football before, so didn't really know everything what to expect, and he sort of showed me the ropes. And yeah, that's helped me the most, and little technique things as well. So.
People back home, for you able to watch the game, what's kind of the best window for them?
The best window is probably this game coming up. That'll be 9:30 in the morning, so that's nice. Obviously, my dad woke up and watched early. My mum was here, luckily, on the weekend. But yeah, I think it's on ESPN occasionally back home, and on KO, which is like a streaming service. So yeah, a lot of games luckily are televised back home.
One last question for Joe.
Wow, I've had a lot. I don't know if I could say just one. I mean, just trust yourself, really. I mean, we put in an unbelievable amount of hard work in the off season, as is what expected here. So by the time you step out game day, you expect to be ready, and just whatever comes, I'll be ready for it. So just trust myself.
Right. You just talk about mindset. How do you keep yourself locked into a game when, in an ideal world, you never have fun with the opposite storm? But how do you keep yourself locked into it? I
mean, it helps that I hold as well. So even if we're out of the punt range, I'm in field goal range then. And our defense, does a pretty good job. So we're usually on offense a lot of the time, and I'm locked in, ready to go. And the worst thing I could possibly imagine is not being ready to go. So, it's pretty easy to keep locked in during the game, I think, for most of the time.
Great, Joe. Thank
awesome.
you very
Thanks,
much.
Thanks, guys.
Joe.
So, man, I've got